Good morning, you're very welcome back. Now, of course, we want to hear from you on this segment. During a recent match, tennis star Emma Raducanu asked for a young child to be removed after their crying became a distraction.
Joining us to discuss when it's appropriate to bring children to live events is actor and father to 8, Gerard Jordan. But first, let's take a look at the viral clip.
It's a child. Do you want me to send the child out of the stadium? I can call in, but we need to continue for the moment.
Right, there you have it. So let us know what you think at home. 0896 111 111. Do you think Emma Raducanu... Tennis, you're meant to be silent, aren't you?
Yeah, you really are.
Should children be allowed to go in to watch these events if they're going to be crying? Gerard, what do you think? What's your stance on it?
My stance on it is they should be allowed because, well, they are allowed in. She was allowed in the first place. I know in Wimbledon they have rules where children under 5 are not allowed on the main court. In this situation, children were allowed in. So I'm of the opinion that it's not the mother's fault or the child's fault, it's the organiser's fault.
Or the father's fault.
Or the father's fault. Or exactly. So circumstance or situation. Circumstance for me being, you don't know that woman's circumstances. She's probably a single mother, has no help. You don't know. She loves tennis, wanted to go to the match.
But, fair enough if bringing the child in when it was silent. But it's different that a tennis match, the umpire generally asks for people to be quiet at certain areas of the game. So if the child starts crying, is it not up to the parent to remove the child?
Not necessarily, because I've been in a situation myself where, you know, you've been embarrassed or you're at a funeral, for example, and the child starts crying. What do? Panic stations kick in. Where's the dodie? Where's the milk? Do I have to change the nappy? Then it probably just all come on top of her. I thought the most awful part of that situation was when she was like, do you want me to remove the child? And Emma Raducanu was going, yeah, look, they're all saying, let's remove the child. Like, imagine how the mother would have felt at that time. She's in her mind going, oh, no, everybody's watching me, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. It's a situation. She probably really wanted to go and see Emma Raducanu, and then all of a sudden, she's the one asking her to be ejected from the sea.
We'd love to hear from you. 0896 111 111. I'm especially for, you know, if your child is neurodivergent and there are things that are happening and things that are sensory overloads, there's a lot to take into account in relation to that. And you don't want to exclude someone because they may react. And I completely and utterly understand that. In your life, as a father of a lot of kids, have you had those situations?
Yeah, like...
But have you decided we're staying, they'll get over this in 10 minutes?
No, you just, like, look, obviously, I have a good few kids, as you know, so we kind of understand the situation. Like in a funeral, for example, if the child was really hysterical, I'll take the child away out of respect. That's fine, right? In tennis, I wouldn't go to a tennis match. That's just my opinion. I just wouldn't go. My thing going back to that situation is, why did the organisers allow the child in the first place? And I know I keep going back to Wimbledon. Do you know what I mean?
Because they thought that the child would be quiet.
But they also...
But if the child starts to cry... Like, the parent can leave to settle the child and then come back like you would do at, say, a funeral or at a wedding or a church in
The problem is in leaving the stadium,
cinema.
There's steps, it's a big way in and way out and stuff like that.
They're not coming in the pram, like.
They're not coming in the pram, but you're carrying the child back and then you're going to come back after the child is settled and then maybe the noise parks off again. So, listen, look, it's an awkward situation to be in, and I don't think anybody realises what you'd be like in that situation, because there's so much happening.
I think what you've said there is quite interesting about, well, the organisers have allowed a child in, therefore anything that happens after that, that's on them. Where does cop on come in? Like, honestly, because then you're talking about banning children from so many spaces during things that you're like, OK, we need a bit of quiet here. Of course, they can shout and scream during the different, like the spaces on. Is there not a little bit of parental responsibility going, oh, God, everyone's really quiet now. They're going to get disturbed. I'm just going to run out real quickly. Like in the middle of a wedding ceremony, when they're saying their vows, is it just going, I'll run out for 5 seconds rather than distract from the main event, and then I'll bring the child back in. Just wondering if there is a bit of cop on here.
Yeah, there should be cop on, but you don't know that. Like, that woman was probably so flustered and didn't know what to do in that moment. And then all of a sudden crowds are clapping and stuff going, yeah, get the child out. And it's like...
But if we widen it
so
out
much
from
emotion.
that one event, if we do talk about what is parental responsibility when it comes to children now, and I know that all children are different, but does there have to be something like, oh God, I'm disturbing an awful lot of people? Like, say, if that child has just decided to kick off and there's no other issues at play, do you have to parent?
Yeah,
go,
you do.
okay,
Like, a bit of common sense would have to kick in. Not in that situation, that's different, right? But if I'm in a situation like in a restaurant, say, for example, right? Restaurant, I'll go to a restaurant that I know will be fitting for me and my family. I'm not going to go to a, swanky restaurant in the middle of the city centre where everyone's like looking at you and stuff like that. It's common sense. You go to a restaurant where you're welcome, there's baby chairs, there's a bit of music going on in the background, and it's a comfortable environment.
Well,
so it's important.
Like that, you don't take your child to a tennis match where you're meant to be quiet.
Yeah,
or a snooker match where you're meant to be quiet. Or to the cinema,
I'll give you an example, right? So let's say, for example, you really wanted to go to the tennis match, right?
I would try and find a babysitter.
You would try and say the babysitter let you down last minute.
I wouldn't go.
No, you would go.
I wouldn't go, absolutely wouldn't.
Well,
as a parent, I would know that it would be too stressful for me to take my child in there to be put in that situation. So I would decide, no, I don't think it's worth upsetting the other people who are watching it and me being put under the stress of doing it. I'm watching the telly.
No, it's circumstance. Like, genuinely, I think maybe that woman wanted a moment where a child to say, you were at Emma Raducanu. She was my favourite tennis player, and I wanted to show you. She could have been there
for a moment and taken her out when she started crying.
Agree, but again, it's put back to that situation of the baby crying, the woman being flustered, the crowd clapping to get rid of the baby. There's a lot going on for that girl.
What do you think about when something's happening when we're out in public? Right, you've got 8 children. People's reaction to certain... Because children are going to have breakdowns. There's nothing that you can do. A tantrum's going to happen out and about.
Yeah.
A wider crowd's response. Like, I've seen some people taking out their phones when a child is having... Like there's also a response to parents. Like, sometimes parents are just in the middle of it, right? And we need to have a little bit more understanding.
I think so. We've had situations with our oldest daughter when she was 3 or 4 years old, where she's in the middle of a shopping centre throwing a strop because we didn't buy her a lollipop, and she's banging on the ground.
Yeah.
Each child, like you said before, is different. So in that situation, we walk away from her and she gets up, stops and follows us. Whereas another one of our child, we pick up and we go, come on, let's go. And then they'll stop crying because we've consoled them. But each child is different, you know, that way. So
and the reaction from people needs to be...
It needs to be... Look, from my point of view, for example, my partner was in distress like a few months ago. She was in McDonald's with the kids, right? And one of the kids was hysterical. This woman came over and sat beside her and was like, are you okay, everything? And that was a nice thing, really nice thing. And she always remembers that.
That's so lovely.
She helped her out in that situation.
Rather than dirty looks.
Yeah.
We have a number of texts, I think, coming through. Al, what are people saying?
We have so many texts in on this. Just have a listen to some of these answers. Talking about children at events, I'm absolutely sick of children running around shouting at mass and at other events and parents not taking responsibility. But Lisa said, you can have a child-free life, but you cannot have a child-free world. Very interesting. People need to be more tolerant of everyone in the world and the environments they were in. That's what you're saying. We can't have a child-free world. When it comes to kids acting up, I just think you never know what someone is going through. So I always give a parent a sympathetic look, as parents are just trying their best. And then Amanda says, we need totally child-free zones. I've been saying this for years.
Amanda stroke Alan Hughes on that one. Let us know what you think again. 0896 111 111. Scan the QR code down there.
Gerard Jordan, thank you so much for joining us on that. We really do appreciate that. Thanks a million.